Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Hello. Are you ready for our shortest Formula One video?
Is it because you're so bad at it,
I
or?
am so fucking awful at this track. Now, you know how we've said in the last few videos that maybe I would benefit from some sort of practice. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah, all that nonsense. I did, in fact, try to practice this one,
Yeah.
and it was pissing me off. So I gave up. I managed
Oh.
4 laps, and then I would have died. Um, so my goal is to finish the race.
Mm. Yeah.
If I finish the race, I'm happy. I can make up points later in the season. Um, so yeah, look forward to that, everyone.
We'll just have fun.
Isn't it beautiful though, Monaco?
Hey, I was going to say Monaco's so pretty.
I think it's. I know
'Cause-
my way around this track. Like I don't need. I could follow it on Google Maps. Right, I could genuinely follow this course on Google Maps, but I can't fucking drive it.
Mm.
Is there an option to see the track? I feel like there should be, but there's not. Like I know this track. It's the most famous Formula One track.
Yeah, the Monaco Grand Prix.
The Grand
Even
Prix.
I know that. What?
The Grand Prix. Can't miss the
Yeah.
Monaco Grand Prix.
They used to call it the Monaco Grand Prix when I was little. And I weren't far off.
Trouble is, the distance between me and him now, I'm already in last place on this lap. Like I'm qualifying in 20th place, and the distances between me and him is tiny.
So is this widely regarded to be the hardest track in reality?
I would say it's probably the hardest track in reality. Yes, but the
Because it's
trouble
just so
is,
windy.
the real issue is a it's so tight, which means there isn't an awful lot of room to, you know, correct yourself if it all goes wrong. But more importantly, there's not a lot of overtaking opportunity.
Mm.
Normally, oh fuck. Normally, whoever starts in pole, unless it's a major incident somewhere, say we're 20th again, and we've only fallen behind that bit. Sector 2 and 3 are my worst. Sector 1's fine, I can do Sector 1. Sector 2 and 3, I'm awful at. So we're starting back of the grid, and that's fine, I can live with that. Don't like it, but we can live with it.
Just do your best.
Do my best. Finish the race. It's hard to overtake. I think in 2023 there were like 5 overtakes that weren't pit stop related in the entire 70 odd lap race.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
How many is there usually?
It depends on the track, but like there was like 100 and something in Las Vegas.
I don't think Lando Norris would be English.
Would you know? He's English Belgian.
Hmm. English. Belgium.
Belgian.
Elgin. Elgin. LGM.
I wonder if our issue is maybe the engine's a bit. Oh yeah, that's our issue. Our engine needs replacing.
Use your nitro.
Oh no! We might as well do it. Our engine's a bit knackered, right?
Yeah.
We've got 43% of our stuff available, and it's a difficult track. So if we apply the new engine, we'll have to start at the back of the grid.
That doesn't matter, does it?
It absolutely doesn't matter because that's where we're starting anyway. So now's actually a really good time for us to do that. I would say. What tyres have we got? I wouldn't normally bother looking at this. Our gearbox is a bit knackered as well. Yeah, we'll do both of them. That's fine. Okay, so maybe this will go all right. I don't know. There's 39 laps. I'm not optimistic about finishing this. We'll see. But each lap's fairly quick. It's like a minute 15, minute 20. So, but you don't get an awful lot of overtake opportunities. I was getting penalised in my practice for illegal overtakes when I don't think I'd done anything wrong. I think I'd stayed on the track, hadn't hit anyone, and it was saying, "Oh no, you've illegally overtaken." Bullshit. I have got some F1 topic as well. Actually, funny enough, I didn't think I would, but I have.
Oh, joy.
That podcast I've been listening to, they had two guests on
Oh, yeah.
that were, I thought, worth making a note of. One of them was
Yeah.
the voice of Formula One, Mr. Murray Walker.
Oh, that guy. I'm familiar enough. Well, I know the name. He's the announcer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not anymore. He retired in like 2001 or something, and but he's that famous that he is the voice of Formula One. People say it. 22 grid place penalty. That it was interesting to listen to him talk.
Yeah.
Like, not as part of his commentating. Do you know anything about him other than his name?
Did he used to drive?
Oh, fucking hell!
You've skidded it.
No, I haven't. Watch this from a different perspective. Hang on, let me do the... Not that one. That one. This isn't me. This isn't my fault.
You rammed by some arsehole.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna... So there I am. I'm not on the... Oh, okay. Maybe that's a little bit both our faults.
I think that might be you, Jordan.
No, I mean I'm going to the gap. He didn't slow down. He's meant to give way. All right, so I need to go back to there then. Okay, there we go. Anyway, no, he wasn't a driver, but one of the things that really stood out for me is that he used to stand up whilst commentating. Because it helped him to helped to convey the excitement that he had for the stuff that was going on.
Sense of urgency, yeah. Yeah, I get that. It's like how whenever I'm on the phone at work, I stop slouching.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, partially because I feel it's a bit disrespectful, weirdly enough, but also it helps with your enunciation.
Yeah. So yeah, he'd stand up while he was commentating and... Oh, you shit! Okay, I'm gonna get black flagged. I'm not liking this either at all, Ben.
No.
No, you know what? You know what we're gonna do?
We're gonna skip this race.
No, we're not gonna do that.
I hope not. Fucking continuity. Fucking completion's sake.
Oh no, it's a break. The car's fucked. The damage on the car is impacting our ability to brake. So we're starting the race again. This is the only restart we're going to do. If push comes to shove, I'll throw it into a wall. It's a shame because we'd actually managed quite a few overtakes in the first section of the track. Brake.
Well, it doesn't matter massively if you fuck this up.
No, not really.
I assume this might impact your next race, right?
No, I mean, the worst case scenario, it means that we are not first place in the championship. But that's fine, we can live with that. Because we can make the points back up later on. It's just, it'd be nice not to, fuck it up. But you see how tight it is. You can barely get two cars beside each other for most of the track.
Yeah, it's really tight.
You can try and force it in the gap if you want, but it's really difficult to do so without...
And this is going to be painful, isn't it?
And you've got the concertina effect, all the tyres. I'm not getting blamed. Oh, it's not my fault! He crashed into me!
What's the concertina effect?
Oh, okay, so the cars bunch up when they slow down into a corner. And it looks like they're really close, but actually it's just because of the speed difference.
Oh, right.
And then they expand out again. It's sort of like an accordion. So
yeah.
We're all bunched up, but actually, because they're putting out of the corner, and they can go faster than I can whilst I'm still in the corner, they pull away, and the true distance is presented to us.
It's like that thing with traffic jams.
Yeah. It's basically the same.
Everybody stops, and then the person at the front goes.
Yeah.
And then the second, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes longer at the back, even though people at the front are moving.
Yeah, it's literally that same thing, but it's in racing.
That's why it's so slow. Yeah, right at the start, everybody's moving fast, and then but because I can't explain it. I ain't no Jeremy Clarkson
I don't think he'd be able to explain it very well either, to be fair.
in the world.
So anyway, so yeah, Murray Walker, interesting person to listen to, I thought. Also listened to Gordon Murray, who was a race engineer from the 70s, 80s. And he was the person who decided that they would try refueling mid-race because there was nothing in the rules that stopped them from doing it. And he worked out that if they didn't have the weight of the fuel in the car at the start, because they were going to add it in partway through the race, they could go that much faster that they would actually benefit overall, rather than lose out because they've not got enough fuel to do it. The time that they have to stop for is, I think he said, as long as they can do it in less than 26 seconds, they would save time overall. And so they were the first team to ever do that. Because before
that's kind of interesting.
I thought it was interesting. That's why I mention it. But more importantly, that's something that they stopped in later years, like 2009 or something, because cars kept catching fire leaving the pits because they'd leave the pits before it was disconnected. Fuel would spill out, and then there'd be fires. There's a whole list of incidents where cars were catching fire because of it.
Is that the invisible fire stuff? I've seen. I think it's a F1 thing. I don't think it's gasoline. It's like a certain chemical or a certain type of fuel that burns with an invisible flame.
Oh no! You can see this shit. You get proper fireballs out of it and everything. There's Max Verstappen's dad was in one particular fireball incident. Jos Verstappen. Basically, the fuel was still pumping out despite having been disconnected from the car. It's meant to automatically disengage, but it didn't. Fuel basically spilled out all over him and the car. Massive fucking fireball. One of the engineers, one of the team members that were doing the pit stops, caught fire and was actually got out. It was fucking mental. But everyone's fine at the end of it. Like, it's just how it works. It's one of those things that they sort of got used to happening at the time. They were ready for it. But it's something to, they stopped it because it wasn't safe anymore. It was going to get someone killed at some point. But no, the fact that he's the guy that introduced and came up with the idea of it, and it became a popular strategy.
That is interesting, actually. Genuinely interesting.
Yeah, I thought so.
And it makes sense too.
Yeah.
There was a technicality. He was like, well, there's nothing about not being able to refuel. This is tactically, this makes sense.
I think the thing is about it was there was nothing in the rules to say that they couldn't make a tactical pit stop.
Yeah.
Whereas normally,
but you could be carrying less fuel at the start, which means you get that early advantage, I suppose, because you weigh less.
Yeah, and you'd build a better lead. Yeah, you'd build a better lead. Therefore, you'd be able to have more time to do a pit stop. Your tyres would be working less hard because they've not got as much weight pushing down on them, as well. So your tyres would last longer. It's just all these sorts of things that back then they had to take into account, was they had to get to the end of a track. They had to get to the end of a race on one fuel load. And they have to now as well, but it's not really much of a consideration these days because they're that good at managing fuel that it's not really an issue. There was one race around Monaco, funnily enough, I can't remember what year, where only like 4 people finished, and I think it might not have been Monaco, but there was a Monaco race where only a handful of people finished because like all the front runners ran out of fuel. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then there was one race where only 4 people finished, and one of those people decided that because they were a lap behind, they'd pull into the pit instead, so they didn't technically finish the race.
I sort of feel like you should give them enough fuel to finish the race, but not so much that they can waste it.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. That's how they do it now. Like, if I open up, you see, oh shit. You see at the top, it's got plus 1.18 laps in the fuel mix on the bottom right, 1.17. Do you see in the bottom
Yeah,
right?
1.1617 laps. Yeah.
Yeah, that is how much fuel I have compared to how much I need. So I can do 1.18 extra laps, which means I can
Mm,
push the equivalent of one lap faster and harder than I need to, and I'll still have a little
mm,
bit of fuel left over. Now I'm not good enough on this track to make it happen. On some of the other tracks, on my own personal save, I've been known to get it to the point where I need to start saving fuel because I'm going to run out of fuel.
mm,
In fact, there was a time during the qualifying, when I did the qualifying properly in that save, where they would only put in enough fuel for 4 laps, and that includes the
mm.
out lap and the in lap, which means that I've only actually got two timed laps for the qualifying. But I didn't know this at the time, so there I was going around for a third one or a fourth one and running out of fuel.
Mm.
And then someone slammed into the back of me, and I ended up getting a penalty for it because I was going too slowly around the track. Which is like fucking ridiculous, but you know. And there's one more, unless you want to talk more about either for Murray's.
No, go for it.
There's one more bit of Formula One info that I found out today. Sergio Perez or Checo as people call him,
The tennis player, yeah.
is no longer going to be racing for Red Bull. He's being replaced by Liam Lawson.
Oh my god.
Now, he was so confident that he was going to be racing for Red Bull right up until the end, despite his somewhat poorer performance this year than last year. He was so adamant he was going to still be racing for Red Bull, and it was announced today, but he's not. He's going to be replaced by Lawson, who is a sort of a newcomer to the team, really. He joined the Red Bull sister team, Visa Cash App Red Bull, or VCARB, if you will. I feel a bit bad for his teammate on that team, Yuki Tsunoda, because he's been part of the Red Bull family for ages, but they still don't think he's good enough to be part of the big team, the big boy team.
Yeah.
Whereas Lawson's done 11 total races in Formula One, and they've moved him up. And he didn't do as well as Tsunoda did in those 11 races, so it does seem a bit of a dick move, personally, to me. But I mean, Helmut Marko, who runs Red Bull, like financially, I believe, is a bit of an arsehole anyway. I think he's a racist. I think it's well known that he's a racist.
Towards which race?
I think the fact that Lawson is a blonde with, I believe, blue eyes may indicate.
Well, he might. What? That he's a racist?
No. I think the fact that Helmut Marko is so fond of Lawson, and Lawson is a white guy with blonde hair and I think blue eyes, may indicate the style of racism that Helmut Marko has. Especially when you have the name Helmut Marko, there's a few implications there.
German, yeah. My colleague, her husband, who was born on 9/11.
The 9/11.
Yeah, genuinely on that day, he was.
Oh my god! The day after Saul was set.
Yeah, in his mother's arms. Plane went into the tower. Holy shit! Yeah, he has blonde hair and blue eyes, and apparently when he goes to Germany, well, everybody thinks he's German.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. Everybody thinks he's German because he's a little Aryan dreamboat, you know.
Yeah.
That's him.
See, I'm a bit confused about our standings in this race because I'm not fast enough to catch up with Albon, but I am fast enough to have managed to pull 3 seconds away from Tsunoda, which feels sort of weird to me, considering I'm not overly pushing it. I'm managing to stay inside the lines for the most part now. Now that I've not got the pressure of people around me trying getting in my way, I'm managing to sort of do what I need to do to keep it on track, which is good, but not overly helpful for the race. I might have to go onto soft tyres when we do a pit stop. Anyway, yeah, that's it for Formula One news. I can't cross that.
Hey. That's all right. I don't mind you doing. Look, I bored your tits off enough.
It makes sense to talk about it whilst I'm doing the game, right?
Well, you're interested in it, and this is for both of us, so you know, fair enough. I don't begrudge you that, and that was kind of interesting about the fuel thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, actually, there was one other thing I learned. Sorry, I don't know who the engineer was. There was an engineer who talked about what we call the Brabham fan car.
What the fuck is the Brabham fan car?
Brabham. It's
Brabham.
Brabham, yeah, Brabham.
Brabham.
Brabham. The thing about the
Brabham by the
the thing about the Brabham fan car is that it used aerodynamics and effectively a fan to suck the car into the ground to help with downforce.
Oh right, okay, so it doesn't take off.
No. But it basically had a fan in the back, and the speed it went, they had to keep the revolutions high, so they'd be going into corners in higher gear or lower gear, or the gear would be different to what you would expect, so they'd get the revolutions on the fan and they'd be able to get sucked to the ground. And that was a bit weird. I'd never heard of it before, and I don't think it was properly well explained. But before we started recording, it was listed in a top 10 Formula One innovations video that Formula One made. Like the Formula One team made this video, and it was included in one of those. I think it was number 2 out of, counting down from 10 to 1. I think it was number 2 or 3. So
yeah,
you know, just a weird design. They had all sorts of weird designs back then. Back in the day, they didn't even have consistent designs per team. You'd have basically a different car every race.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're all fairly similar. It's just for silly little innovations in the setups that are different, and the engines. But it's mostly Ferrari and Honda engines these days. Anyway, yes, all done. Carry on.
You sure?
Yep.
There's not another one hiding around the corner. You're not going to tell me Lance Stroll's had a fucking colonoscopy or something, yeah?
No, I'm impressed that you remembered Lance Stroll's name. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
But also, no, if there was anything I would be interested in telling you about Lance Stroll is that he'd accidentally crashed into a wall and was no longer going to be able to participate in Formula One, because that would be a benefit to the sport.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's only there because of daddy's money.
Well,
he's not there on merit.
right.
He's there because his dad's got money and he bought the team. His dad bought the team and he drives.
Seriously?
Genuinely, yeah.
What team does he drive for?
Aston Martin.
So Lance Stroll's dad bought Aston Martin and made his son a driver on the team.
I don't think he bought Aston Martin. I think he bought what was at the time Racing Point, and now they drive under the name Aston Martin because of Aston Martin sponsorships. It's a bit more complicated than just. But realistically, he's only driving because his dad owns the team. Right? It's as simple as that. Everyone knows it.
Is he any good?
I mean, he's good enough to be in Formula One. He's not good enough to do well in Formula One. I think
if his dad didn't own the team,
he wouldn't be in Formula One if his dad didn't own the team. I guarantee it.
So he's okay. So he's not good enough to really be.
If you want a comparison, Fernando Alonso in his first 4 races of 2024, scored as many points as Lance Stroll did in the entire year. Fernando Alonso, his teammate, could have done nothing for the last 20 races of the year, and he would have done as well as Lance Stroll did. So take that as a, that's why he's not good enough to be in Formula One. You expect.
Is Lance Stroll the one?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, you.
No, you go on. Okay, is Lance Stroll the one who looks like a twink?
No, that's Charles Leclerc, and he won the last race of the. Oh no, he didn't win the last race, but he did fucking good. He's a good driver, Charles Leclerc. He drives a Ferrari. But yeah, he does. He's a bottom, isn't he? He's from Monaco, funny enough. He won the Monaco this year.
Oh god, Lance Stroll looks like such a fucking twat.
Yeah.
Don't want to be mean. He looks like the obnoxious twatty bully in a high school movie where the nerds win in the end.
Look at Lance Stroll's sister. Like Google Lance Stroll's sister.
Is it just Lance Stroll in a wig? Is that what you're...
No.
Okay.
The only time I've seen Lance Stroll's sister, it was in a picture with Lance Stroll, and they were being a bit too intimate. They were a bit too close to each other.
She is sitting on his lap.
Yeah, that's the picture.
Yeah.
It didn't look right.
Well, there's another couple on here that
I remember thinking she was a good-looking woman, but maybe I'm mixing it up with one of the other people. But because the whole thing here was these are Formula One racing drivers, and either their partner or their family or their sister.
Yeah.
Which one do you think it is based
siblings
on?
Or dating?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
When I was at when I was at sixth form, I knew a girl who was, and I think I friended her on Facebook or something, or I saw her pop up on Facebook, and I looked at her Facebook profile, and there was a guy on there, and they looked fucking identical, like facial structure, everything. They looked like siblings,
Yeah.
and they were dating,
Oh
but
god.
they looked genuinely looking at them. It wasn't just a, oh, they could be brother and sister. Looking at them, they,
You would assume.
yeah, that would be your first and perhaps only instinct, was that they were brother and sister, because they just look it's the teeth. They've got very similar teeth and smiles, and that's one of those things where that's not that's sort of more specific than, say, you've got similar noses.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, it's like when you smile, you're smiling, your teeth just look identical. Yeah.
There's a lot of keeping it in the family when it comes to Formula One. I know I said
There
not
is
anymore,
incest. Why don't you mention the incest to begin with? I might have given a shit.
because you're a big fan.
What?
Because you're a big fan of it.
Of what? Formula One?
Well, no, incest. I'm assuming based on your topic. Your response.
No.
So anyway,
I mean, it might have made it a bit more interesting.
there's a lot of
There's a scandal.
there's a lot of my dad was in Formula One, so I'm going to be in Formula One going on. So like,
That's not really incest, is it?
no, I know it's not. You said you used the word incest. I'm just.
I did. I remember now. I'm sorry. You said keeping it in the family. Fair enough. Not incest.
Oh,
Gotcha.
fucking hell. We just
Meh.
bloody pit stopped and we've crashed.
You bloody idiot.
Do you want to watch that again? Did you see it?
Yes. Yeah, I caught the tail end of it, unfortunately. I would like to see that again. I looked away for a moment.
I took the corner just a bit too tight. Here, I didn't quite hit the apex right.
Oh, you shattered your wheel, didn't you? That.
So anyway, for example,
Do it again.
for example, Ayrton Senna, or Ayrton Senna as it properly should be called, was involved in Formula One until his untimely death in '94.
What did he die of?
Funnily enough, high speed impact.
Right, that'll do it.
Yeah, they bring it up a lot in the podcast. Actually, a lot of people talk about how it impacted them and all that kind of stuff. They didn't interview the wall, but you know.
Well, that's just bloody typical of the mainstream media, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? But Bruno Senna, his son, was involved in Formula One for a while. Obviously, you got Jos and Max Verstappen. You had Graham Hill and Damon Hill. There was at least two PKs, I think, and Nelson Piquet's daughter, Kelly Piquet, is Max Verstappen's partner and soon to be mother of his child. You know, there's a lot of you had the Schumacher brothers were both in Formula One. You get so many family relations in Formula One, but it's a bit crazy, really. It's one of the reasons why Hamilton is such an outlier, in that he's not really. He's one of these few people who, at the time, was really not a part of a Formula One inner circle, and black as well. You know, it really makes him stand out amongst the other people he was racing it with. You know,
I have to say that's a fair point, because I haven't seen any other black Formula One drivers. And I imagine maybe it's because there's so much money in it, and because it's sort of a high class thing that it's sort of, unfortunately, dominated by white figures.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say you've got that right down. But even when you look at the geographical origins of these people, Ayrton Senna was a white man, but he's from Brazil. I'm pretty sure he's from Brazil. But like, you think Brazil, you'd think Hispanic, wouldn't you?
Well, yes. What's his name again? Sorry.
Ayrton Senna, Ayrton Senna.
Right. I'm going to suggest, is he German, or has he got some German parentage?
I'm pretty sure he's Brazilian. I thought he was Brazilian.
I don't know. Most of them went to Argentina, but South America has a, for one reason,
well,
has
one in particular, yeah.
Well, yes, has a large German population.
But no, it's just it's one of those weird things that for someone who you would expect would not be white. Like, I don't care.
Mm.
Skin's skin, right? It doesn't bother me whether someone's black, white, whatever. But
Right.
but you would expect someone from Brazil to potentially be Hispanic, but he's a Caucasian male.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's sort of like saying you expect someone from England to be white.
Well, if typically speaking, on balance, someone who is from the UK is probably
Yeah.
Caucasian.
Pale as the driven snow.
You know, it's not a racist thing to comment on the expected demographic of a person that someone would fall under based on where they come from. Like,
Sorry, I'm just changing the subject
yeah,
drastically. I don't know whether I'm allowed to at this point.
go for it, yeah.
I don't know whether I told you this, but a while ago I used the phrase "tried nothing and all out of ideas."
Yeah.
Did I tell you this?
I don't recall, maybe.
And basically, there was a conversation where, well, somebody had done the bare minimum,
Hmm.
and I referred to them as having tried nothing and were all out of ideas.
Okay.
One of my coworkers burst out laughing and said, "That's really good. That's really clever."
Hmm.
That's off the internet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
we've tried nothing. Oh no, it's from an episode of The Simpsons with Ned Flanders' parents in a flashback. They say we've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
Oh, when we find out his dad's a beatnik.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to discipline him because they don't. It doesn't fit in with their idea of how life should be or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, would you like one of my topics if you're done
Actually,
with the F1?
I would.
Are you shitting me?
No, I would, but there's something I don't want to forget about. I can't write it down because I'm in the middle of this race.
Okay.
It relates back to the meal that I went to with work on Monday that we
Yeah.
talked about in the last video. Which, if you're still here, you should definitely go and watch and listen to.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd probably get some enjoyment out of it.
I honestly am past the point of caring.
No, but I mean, someone's got to pretend to give a shit. So anyway,
Somebody will stumble upon our 1,000 video backlog in 6 years or however long it's going to be,
yeah.
and we'll be catapulted to minor stardom after we're featured in a video a short, not video essay, but a short video or a Reddit post where someone's like, "These two guys have made a shit ton of videos,
And no
and
one watches them. What the hell?
and nobody watches them," and there's a weird sort of vibe where you feel like you're falling asleep listening to two of your friends carrying on a conversation, which is what we want to. Well, what I want to go for. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Carry on.
Also, to indicate just how bad Stroll is, I'm catching up with him, and I had a 7-second pit stop. So anyway, yeah, this meal. I was sat opposite someone because of the way the table was laid out. My son was sat next to me because he joined us, and this woman. I know she was joking, but I feigned outrage because it's funnier that way.
Yeah.
She said, "This handsome young man, are you sure he's yours?" Which,
what about your son?
Yeah, about my son.
Yeah.
The implication, of course, being therefore that I'm not a very handsome man.
Yes.
That's the intended joke there. But and I obviously faking outrage is obviously the funniest way of dealing with it.
Well, yes.
But
Or some sort of witty retort. I don't know what I'd say in that situation.
no, it's difficult, isn't it? But yeah, that's a thing that happened. Okay. Cool. We're gonna overtake him this lap, or we're gonna crash into him and wipe him out, and then have to start again from the start, from a heel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, your topic now.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with that.
Well, that story.
Yeah.
Oh, I overtook him on the hill. Ah! No, that was the whole story. I just wanted to tell that story because I didn't want to forget it.
Oh,
I thought you'd be amused by it.
Yeah, somewhat amusing, yeah.
That was a textbook overtake.
Well done,
Thank
I
you.
guess.
They'll put that in
For
the
applauding.
textbooks.
Textbook things. I'm reading a book.
No way. You should be watching this.
It's called Court number one.
Okay.
Let me look it up. I can't remember what it's called. Well, it doesn't matter. Well, court number one, I think. Actually, you know
Tennis or
what? This is
legal?
gonna bother. Legal.
Okay, 'cause it could have been tennis.
Court number one, the Old Bailey trials uh, that defined modern Britain.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
So the gist is, it recaps certain cases from British legal history that were held in court number one of the Old Bailey.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it's fucking great.
Is it really?
Yes, it's exactly my sort of thing, because it's just a series of interesting stories.
Hmm.
So I've read 4 thus far. The first one was the Camden Town murder, where an artist was on trial for having allegedly murdered a prostitute. He probably did it, but he got off.
And then he murdered her.
Yeah. There was a famous case at the Savoy in the early 20s, I think, where a woman shot her. She was a French woman and she'd married this Egyptian multi-millionaire heir to a fortune, and she shot him, and she got away with it. But one that really stood out to me was a libel case
Oh yeah.
during World War One,
Oh.
and I can't quite recall all the details because it's a little complicated.
As libel cases
gist-
often are.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find more details about this. It's called "The Cult of the Clitoris" is the chapter name.
Oh. Okay.
And there's lots of discussion because A, nobody knows nobody knows what a clitoris is at the time. Everybody's sort of knocking. The guy who wrote the article chose the word from like a medical dictionary because he wanted something vaguely female, sexually orientated, and nobody knew what it was. And I think anyway. Yes, Noel Pemberton Billing, who I'd never heard of before, but sounds fascinating. He was a right-wing MP, an inventor, and writer. He was part of something called the Vigilante Society,
Okay.
which basically argued that there were German spies fucking everywhere, and most of them were gay.
Okay.
There was basically there was a libel trial where Pemberton Billing used his paper to criticise an actress who was in a production of Salome, which was written by Oscar Wilde. But he hijacked the trial completely and made it about this. He said that there was a secret book that he had seen and a handful of other people had seen, but nobody knew where it was now, and hardly anybody else had seen. And it listed 47,000 people who were spying for Germany and were also probably gay.
Jesus.
And one of his witnesses was like someone who suffered from like severe delusions.
So what year was this?
1917.
Okay.
Yeah, like the prime minister was accused in court. The judge was accused. It was like, yes, I've seen it. The judge is in it, and also the prosecution. It's just insane. But I'd never heard of this.
No,
I thought it was absolutely fascinating, and it was just whipping up public hysteria. And what stood out to me was it was one of those moments where you realise nothing is new. Because reading that, I thought you could change a few of the details, and you'd essentially have that could play out in today's society.
Well, I think that seems most similar to it in history that's already happened is the communist witch trials.
Well, yes, exactly.
The Red Scare and
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind when you said change a few details.
Well, yeah, it's one of those where I've seen a list and all these big establishment society people are on it, and it's this liberal, progressive sexuality, um, you know, that's running rampant in society, and it's women getting above their places, and it's sexual perversion,
Yeah.
and it's helping Johnny Foreigner, you know.
Bloody. I don't know.
It's fascinating.
Just a quick update on the race. I fully expect
Yeah.
our final position will be 12th. If we overtake anyone, we need to then remain 3 seconds ahead of them, because we've got a 3 second penalty for that corner cutting incident. Um, so realistically, we're going to stay where we are now, race wise. It's going to be hard to make up 21 seconds, nearly 22 seconds. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great book. I'm on the trial of Lord Ha Ha,
Hmm.
that was the name given to a German propagandist in World War II,
Okay.
who was English, who was one of Oswald Mosley's followers who moved to Nazi Germany and ended up broadcasting propaganda.
Mosley being Max Mosley's
The
dad.
British Union of yeah,
Max
which is
Mosley,
weird.
Formula One guy.
Yeah, who was having like massive orgies or something with
Nazi sex
prostitutes and
parties, I
cocaine.
believe, is the.
Nazi sex party taking after his dad. Yeah.
I think there was a legal case about that, wasn't there? Because there was the argument that everyone involved was consenting. There was no public reason for everyone it to become public knowledge and be reported on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was some
I
sort of
mean,
legal challenge.
quite probably. I mean, he was. I mean, his parents were ghastly people.
You know,
I mean, his mother was one of the Mitford sisters. You familiar with the Mitford sisters?
I don't think so.
So the Mitford sisters were an aristocratic group of sisters
Okay.
who, sort of in the early 20th century, who gained some degree of fame for being part of that sort of bright young thing social movement, but also because they had such wildly different political beliefs.
Oh, okay.
Like Diana was a fascist, and one
Hmm.
of them was like a diehard communist,
Oh, okay.
and presumably one of them was a liberal Democrat.
Well, yeah, you'd have to be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of that Stephen Fry and Laurie, bit of Fry and Laurie sketch
Hmm.
where they do like the vox pop thing, and they ask a woman on the street, played by Stephen Fry and Jag, what her political persuasion is, and she goes, "Well, my mother was a Labour supporter, and my father was a Conservative, and so by rights that already ought to make me a Liberal Democrat, but in actual fact, I'm a Nazi."
Hmm.
It's just amusing.
I've miscalculated. I'm going to end up losing this position because I can't seem to stay ahead of Sonoda. He's catching up on me like nobody's business. I don't know where I'm losing the time. I think it might be in the tyres.
Mm.
So, yeah, this is going to be a bad race, but we will get to the end. Carry on.
Yeah.
So Max
Well-
Mosley's dad was connected to it, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how. Yes, sorry. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, yeah, he was a German propagandist. And I briefly heard. I had heard of Lord Ha Ha before. Or Haw Haw, or whatever. HAW. Before. He had
Haw Haw.
sort of a plummy voice. Yeah. He, But he was weirdly popular. Like, he had like 6 million listeners. And not just in Europe, but in Britain too.
wow.
And the reason why was because it was a good. Some people listened to it because they were genuinely like coming over, I guess, to that train of thought. They were genuinely like Nazi sympathetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, some of them listened to it because they found it ridiculous and amusing, apparently, because
Okay.
it was such a plummy twat.
Hmm.
But one of the reasons people listened to it because it was just a good way of getting news. Apparently, they would read out the names of newly captured prisoners of war,
Okay.
which is useful to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
If if you've got loved ones serving abroad, you're probably listening to find that out.
Yeah.
But he also got the book makes mention of the fact that because the British press is sort of held off on big news until the afternoon or the evening papers or something, or the morning papers the next day, like when Edward the
Yeah. Yeah.
seventh or when George the Seventh died, or George the Sixth died, or George the Fifth, I can't remember.
Doesn't matter. Whichever one.
Yeah.
He was effectively euthanized, wasn't he? So he'd make supposedly euthanized, so he'd get the right paper or something.
Yeah, that's been suggested. It might. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, this Lord Haha broadcast the news that the wartime minister for agriculture, I think, had been sacked before the British press did.
Oh wow.
Which is interesting. But it wasn't. It got towards the end of the war. It got a little amusing because he was trying to put a positive spin on the fact that Germany was losing so badly. Apparently, during D-Day, they played noise of bullets and pretended they were right at the front lines.
Fucking hell.
They weren't. Yeah, I haven't finished that chapter. I'm pretty sure they're going to hang him, and he sounds like a prick, so I hope they do.
Oh, I look forward to finding out what they did.
Yeah.
I would Google it, but I'd just wait till next week when I assume you're going to tell me.
Yeah, maybe. I'll keep you posted.
Oh, hang on, there's blue flags here. I'm going to have to move over for someone. Who for? Who do I move for? They're nowhere near me. I'm racing for position here. Got an level with you. This is not going well, this race, but we always knew it wasn't going to, didn't we?
Yeah.
Fucking our wings.
My friend is at a live Murder She Wrote experience.
What? Not right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Our front wing is fucked.
Would you like the second of my 3 topics?
Yeah, go on then.
The 3 topics I wrote down. So, I saw some Donald Trump news recently.
We're done. We're done in this race.
What?
We're done in this race. We're not. It's not drivable anymore.
Oh, is that the video over then?
It will be. I'm
Okay.
steering full lock at this corner. And it's not.
No.
We barely turned.
Well, slow down, man.
It says to slow down now. Okay, we've managed the corner. It's not really properly drivable.
It is. Everybody else is managing it.
No, because we've not got our front wing. They all have. They've all got their front wing. I haven't, because we clipped a corner and lost it.
Well, Donald Trump was in the news.
Die,
You may
Charlie!
remember that Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, was reopened, wasn't it, after however many years? 5?
Yeah.
Yes, and he attended the ceremony. Now, there was a video circulating of Donald Trump sitting alone, and lots of people sharing looks. One woman behind her one woman behind him seems to put her finger to her nose as if she's covering up a scent. And there's people around him gossiping. And the rumor is that he shit himself.
Okay.
No, this is not a new thing for Trump. Oh dear. Apparently it's people have been saying this is something that happened. People, somebody who worked on The Apprentice said he did it on occasion.
Okay.
Apparently I think there was something quite big about him wearing diapers.
I feel like I've heard that as well.
I mean, at his age, that's reasonable enough. But if Joe Biden had shit himself
Yeah,
in public,
there'd be no end of grief about it.
it would be the most memed thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an old man. I mean, I dare say other presidents did similar things like that. I mean, they kept the fact Roosevelt had polio pretty secret in the day.
Oh, fuck.
George Bush Senior famously threw up on the Japanese president. or Prime Minister. Have you seen that video?
No, but I had heard of it.
Yeah. He sort of falls into his lap and throws up.
Wow.
Passes out, bless him. So God knows what happened back in the day. Jimmy Carter was attacked by a giant rabbit.
Wow. Lyndon B. Johnson kept getting his cock out.
He did. He used to beat senators into submission with it, and thank God he did. We need another Lyndon Johnson. You know, he was the last Democratic president to die
Was he really?
in 1971 or something.
Wow. Oh, fucking hell. What happened there? Oh,
Yeah.
no, not that one.
I think he drove into the wall.
No, it just didn't handle.
Uh,
We're going to watch it again. So I'm curious. I don't feel like I turned into a wall. I lost it. If I do, what's my steering wheel? See, I wasn't going into the wall when it.
You spun out on something.
Yeah.
Is that your duvet in that playing card picture you sent me earlier? Is that a tablecloth?
That's my duvet cover. Yeah, the tyres. Oh, fucking hell! I don't know what's going on there, but the tyres haven't got any grip in them.
It's quite nice.
What about duvet cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, the car hasn't got the grip in it. What's going on here? Why has it not got any fucking grip? See, it just literally just span out. I don't know what's happening. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. We're not going to finish this race at this rate.
Well,
It's not.
you do what's right for you.
It's not. There we go. I managed to hold it through there, but only because I slowed right down. Maybe the tyres just aren't warm enough. That happens sometimes. They're fresh tyres. It's not like they're. You know, they've got 0% wear. Rear wing's a bit knackered, but that's fine. I can work with that. Okay. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, that's my duvet cover. I want to change it because it's been a little while since I've changed it, but I need to. You know how it is.
Yeah. I need to clean my house a bit this weekend. I haven't cleaned my bathroom since I moved in October. It's very dusty, surprisingly dusty.
Is it really?
Yeah. So yeah, I need to give that a clean.
Did you see the 5-second penalty?
No.
We ended up with a 5-second penalty.
Why?
Because of when I rammed Charles Leclerc. But
Well,
he wasn't complaining.
You leave that gentle little boy alone. It's not his fault. Not his fault he looks the way he does.
He's from Monaco. But thanks to him, we're not going to finish last. Basically, I should have been kicked out of the race by now for my crashing into him. I literally ran straight into him. I don't know if you saw it, but it was definitely an illegal manoeuvre. And I should not be allowed to drive this race anymore. And yet, they don't mind. They've still got me in it. They want me to catch up with a safety car queue. Oh, we're here now. Good. Stay behind Ocon. That's alright. Tell you what, if I take my time catching up a bit more, it'll drag it out, and then maybe we'll be able to make up a load of places right at the end. That's the one advantage of a safety car. Oh no, okay, shit.
Catch the queue, catch the queue. Stay behind Ocon, return to correct position.
I'm not trying to overtake.
I suppose
There
I
we go.
suppose if you owned one of these super yachts, you could just sit on the back of it and watch as they go past.
Famously, I believe it was Kimi Raikkonen did exactly that. He crashed out, and rather than wait for the stewards and go back to the pit lane, he got in his yacht and watched the rest of the race with a bunch of mates and got drunk. So yeah, you could absolutely do that. I'm really enjoying that podcast. It's
Good.
proving interesting, and hearing not all of them, but hearing a load of former racers and people then talk about their lives outside of Formula One. Like there was one guy, I can't remember his name now, and I feel terrible for it. But he's from South Africa, and he'd done racing, and he ended up becoming a farmer, and because of his desire to make good quality, homegrown, healthy stuff for his family, he became a farmer, and he's got a lab that researches soil and all that kind of crap. Made ice cream. He's got buffalo. All that, like it's crazy.
Like how Sam Neill keeps pigs.
Yeah,
That's what he does now. And he deserves to. I like Sam Neill.
yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
So no, it's just interesting to hear about their lives outside of Formula One after a fact, because it's not something that you'd normally think about, is it? Once a racing driver, always a racing driver. They had a Michael Schumacher special where they were talking about him. They had his former agent on there, and we had a few of his teammates on to talk about him because it was his 50th birthday at the time. They'd have probably got him on, but obviously the coma and the accident and all that.
I don't know. He's probably. I mean, he's retired, and I guess recovering enough.
I mean,
I don't know.
He's not. I don't think he's ever going to be the same again.
Well, no. I mean, can he speak? I don't know what the issue. What the issue is? Is it like serious brain damage?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, someone's pissed. Oh no, that's a safety car. Never mind.
Was it a skiing accident?
Yeah, he had an accident skiing right out, like a year after he retired.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, no, he left for a while, then came back.
Skiing's fucking dangerous. That's how Natasha Richardson died, isn't it?
I don't know.
She was Liam Neeson's wife.
Sounds about right.
I'm sure she died in a skiing accident.
Oh, the woman from. Oh, fuck's sake, Stroll!
Not Natasha. Not. I know. I think I know who you're thinking of. You're thinking of Miranda Richards.
No, I'm thinking of his wife in Love Actually.
Oh, maybe.
Because his wife in Love Actually died, and that's why they had the funeral. Isn't it?
Sorry, what?
In Love Actually, Liam Neeson's wife is dead, and that's why there's the funeral at the start.
I've never seen Love Actually.
You should. It's a wonderful film. It's another Christmas film where Alan Rickman gets to be a bastard.
Oh, she was Vanessa Redgrave's daughter. She looks like Vanessa Redgrave. Did she die? Hang on, go away. Yes, died in 2009 from a head injury after a skiing accident in Quebec. Let's have a look. Filmography.
She hasn't actually played his wife in Love Actually.
What do you mean?
She didn't actually play his wife, is what I'm saying.
Why'd you say it?
Because, oh for fuck, Liam Neeson's wife in the film has died, and so they have a funeral. We don't see the wife. It's just a silly little joke about the film.
All right, okay.
Oh, Stroll's DNF'd. Did I hit him? I might have hit him, you know. I didn't think I had. If we crash again, I give up. I can't be dealing with it. I'm getting agitated, and this race seems to have gone on forever. Have I got a topic? I've been seeing a lot of similar videos on TikTok lately.
Yeah.
Specifically pointing out that Luigi was at such and such a place, and therefore was not in New York. He's got a lot of alibis.
He was helping me move. he can't be. He was helping me harvest my potato crop at the time. Yes, I've seen some of those.
Yes, it's all a bit crazy, isn't it?
I saw lots of people in Pennsylvania wearing green Luigi hats.
He's being extradited to New York, isn't he? Which seems ridiculous that you could be extradited to another part of the same fucking country. But you know, you would think murder would be a federal charge rather than a state charge, and so it wouldn't necessarily need to be tried in the appropriate.
Well, I don't think I'm not sure that. I heard they're not charging him with murder. They're charging him with terrorism.
I'd heard murder, but
You're probably right. You're probably right.
speaking of murder or moida, if you will, from a New
Boy,
York, moida.
yeah.
I finished the Hitman game.
What did you? What do you think?
I think that it's got a lot of stuff going on in it. I grew to like it more as I got further into it.
Yeah.
As I got better at it, I felt more pleased playing it. Obviously, we had two very different play styles based on what I was hearing from you. In that I would try to do a lot in the first playthrough mission, and
Whereas I just sort of looked around, figured out what was what, tried to come up with a plan to take out the target in a way I liked, rather than looking at the challenges. I didn't even look at the challenges until I'd completed the game, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll start aiming for shit.
Whereas I was aiming to get as many of them done as possible. Like, I did the entire, like, other than the Silent Assassin stuff, which I don't think you'd be able to actually do properly anyway on the train. That's got to be really difficult to do on the train.
No, it's fine, because they count as, well, you definitely can do it.
I suppose you'd have to just change outfits, wouldn't you?
Well, you can kill them, is the thing.
Yeah, they don't count against you.
Those guys don't count as people. You don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to kill absolutely everyone.
Yeah, I did the first time.
And I have
they're all bastards and they deserve it.
I saved just before killing for constant or injecting for constant, so that I could do the bit where I inject myself as well, and get the challenge for that, because that's the one I hadn't done when I showed you that I'd done all but the one. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. I've not played it since. I plan to at some point. I've not even installed it, which is a real kicker. So yeah, I do plan to go back to it, but I want to. Have you seen that there's a new level specially available at the moment?
Yeah, yeah. If I replay it, well, I say replay it. When I revisit it for these videos, I'm going to end up going through the arcade, and you can just buy them. I think as expansion pack type things.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. It's got, yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Yeah, it's a splitter. There's a load of clones as well, I think.
You know why they're not exclusive? It's elusive targets.
That's it.
Do you know why they're elusive targets?
Because they're limited time.
Well, they don't show up in red as well. You have to find them on the map. They're not automatically on the mini map.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we will revisit Hitman as soon as I finished
Battlefront 2.
Bringing fascism to space.
No, we're done. We're done. I give up.
Well, you tried.
Monaco is a hard track. I never claimed to be good at this. It's a tight track. Even when I had about 15 laps of it all going well, and then it all started going badly. So that's not going to help the standings. Go on. Where are we? Oh! How are we still first?
Did nothing at all. Maybe because you accrued so many points from the other races, it might have narrowed the lead. But
I didn't think I had. I thought he was only.
I guess you must have.
Yeah. Well, that changes everything. I thought we were going to lose first place. Apparently, we finished the race, and we outperformed Lance Stroll because we
You sabotaged him.
No, I didn't.
Or
I don't
joined
remember
him.
sabotaging him. I definitely sabotaged Charles. Okay, fair enough. We live and we learn.
Mm.
You're allowed to crash into one person
Mm.
intentionally to try and kill them. Spain's a bit larger a track, so hopefully that'll go well. But that's a next week problem. Thank you for joining us, whoever joined us, if you did, which you didn't, but thank you anyway. Bye, everyone.
Bye.